Well, got this in here in the mail the other day, and I opened it upside down. You might notice, but that's no big deal because I was looking at this here sticker first. That was my first thing I seen, and it says 20 inch curved, and I didn't order a 20 inch. I ordered a 23 inch. So anyway, I haven't measured it, but it looks like about 20, I don't know, 20, 22 inches. It's a cheap LED light off Amazon, LED bar, and it's curved. And I can't seem to open it with one hand while I hold the camera. And I took it out of the package, and my first reaction was, okay, that looks pretty decent. That just might work. But upon closer inspection, there was one or two of these little screws that holds the weather cover on, and one or two of them, they looked like they were sideways to me. I can't remember which ones. I guess right now it just doesn't look too bad. I can't even seem to find them. Anyway, it's a cheap light off Amazon. It actually came from a Canadian company, but but I think this is China. It comes with a wiring to wire it up, brackets to mount it up, and I like the mounting. They're on the side, and they have like notches, so when you tighten the bolt down, it's not gonna turn, or yeah. So this is gonna go on the Dakota project, and I'm not quite sure where it's gonna go yet. Put the brackets on it. So now it sits up, I don't know, sits up pretty good now. There's about an inch of space underneath of it, maybe a little more than an inch, I guess. Inch and a half, maybe. So this is 120 watts, I think. It's supposed to be 23 inches. That's what I paid for, but the sticker over here says 120 watt 20 inch curved. Anyway, there's a spot right here that's dinged up on it. It's got like it's kind of sharp actually. It feels like it could probably stab you. There's a sharp spot right there where it's got some sort of a mark into the bezel. And I would probably flip it over and put that on the bottom, but the wire comes out of the bottom, so I don't really, I know the mounts, you can flip the mounts, but if I flip the bar, then the wire is going to be coming out up there. I don't know about that. That's probably, that should probably be on the bottom. I don't know. I could probably do it that way. All I gotta do is flip the mounts over. So that would be the top. Right now, flip it over, this is the top. And then have the mounts set up that way. I'm not sure what we'll do about that. There's the screw right there, the one that looks sideways. This one right here seems to me that it's not in right. You got the flood beams over on the end, eight of them, and then spotlights down the center, and then flood beams on the other end as well. Okay, I've got the hood popped open right now, and I want to emulate the stuff that I had done to the Suzuki, so it might be getting a skid plate later. I've ordered a lift kit, so it's going to be getting a lift kit. It might be getting a winch on the front, so I have to keep this stuff in mind if it gets a skid plate or a winch later on. So this top bar here, that's like the bumper, and the bottom piece is like plastic, and that's where the fog lights are, and there's a nice gap there. The LED light would fit in there, but I don't really want it down that low, because you can see how dirty the fog lights are, and this part of the bumper, you see how much road salt it gets, and moisture off the road and spray off the road. But a little bit higher up, like up here, the headlights are pretty clean. They're a little bit dirty down lower, but so I'm gonna try to get it up high because it's a cheap light, and the only problem that you get with those cheap lights is possible condensation inside, and there's two screws in it that aren't even straight, or they're probably not even tight. So I'm gonna mount it up high and try to keep it up high and dry. And since this is a nice steel bar here, and it has a nice straight line, so thinking into the future, what I did with the Suzuki when I put the winch and skid plate on it, I removed the lower half of the bumper. There was a line like this on the Suzuki, and I just took the Sawzall and I just cut. So I might remove this lower half later on. And keeping that in mind, I'm probably gonna put the light bar just right on top of the bumper right there. So it'll be basically in front of the grill, sort of in between the headlights. I'll probably keep this steel bar even if I do modifications later on. I can always keep this and work with it because it conforms to the headlights and the grill, and I can always build the lower half if I have to. So I'm going to keep this top bar, and I'm going to mount the light right on top. I'm just going to drill some holes and probably put some locking nuts on the inside. And with the grill here, the grill opens with the whole hood, so it doesn't really come straight up, I don't think. It comes up on a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to have to put the mounts on a slight angle outward so the LED bar clears the grill and the movement. this thing is on, and yeah, that's what it looks like. This is a little different than the last project. Last project I put the old school halogen fog lights on it on the Suzuki project. If you've seen that video or not, or those videos. So this is a little different, a little more modern. And yeah, I put it right on top of the bumper. This part here is steel, so I drilled the hole in the steel and put there's like, this is boxed in, so I put a nut on the inside, a locking nut on the inside there. That was pretty tricky, just getting the nut in there because it's all boxed in, but I got her. She's bolted up and bolted down, and I guess I'm gonna have to wire this thing up next. It'll need to be wired, but that's what it looks like. I ended up drilling oversized holes here, so I think I went a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch for the holes, so I could line everything up, because the first time it didn't seem to be straight in line with the grill. So I put oversized holes, and I made sort of, when I put the drill bit in, I reamed them out up and down, so I tried to make like slots to make it adjustable on each side. So I got her pretty good and straight there now and bolted down. And the kit, the light does come with a switch and wiring, so that should be pretty easy, and that's what it looks like right now. There is adjustability here to turn it up and down, so I might turn it down a little bit. I'm not sure. The curve, it is a curved light bar, and it's curved almost perfectly with everything else. Matches pretty nice. Now that the light bar is mounted on the bumper, it needs to be wired. And right now I've got this wire just tucked in here. That's what the light bar comes with. It just comes with dead ends or bare ends. But it also comes with this harness, and this is the output for the light, but it has female push ends on it, so I'm gonna have to put some male ends on here, and I don't think it came with any, but that's no big deal. So anyway, this is the output of the harness, and I decided to mount, there's a little relay right here and a fuse here. So the relay has basically 3 lines coming off of it. You got your power in with the fuse on it, and you've got your power out, which is pretty good size wire, and then you've got your switch, your on-off switch. So the on-off switch, I just have this wire just piled up here and sitting here, but this has to go into the cab to where your on-off switch is. So I'll probably find a hole in the firewall, like you see this grommet here. I'll find one of those grommets and I'll poke a hole in it, and I'll have to find a way to get the wire inside of the cab there, and I'll have to fit that connector through also, so that'll be fun. Anyway, that goes in the cab to the switch, and this here goes to the power and this here goes to the light. So basically the power is positive and negative, and since it has these nice round connectors, I'm just going to put one directly on the battery so the light will still work even with the key off. So I'm going to put one of those directly on the battery. There might be a power point in here that turns on with the key, so that might be handy. I'm not sure yet. And the ground. So if I mount the relay here, the power will reach here or here, and the ground can go. I don't think the ground will reach over here to the battery, but it can go anywhere. I noticed that there was already one. There's already a ground bolted down here somewhere. Right there. That bolt right there, that's the one that's got a ground wire on it already. So I might go there. I don't think, this is the fuse, that's the relay. I don't think the negative will reach over there. It might, but I prefer to just do everything right here and bolt the negative to the body, to the chassis. So there's a little brain box or of some sort here, and I might mount it. I might bend that tab on a 90-degree angle and just mount it there. Run the wire into the cab for the switch and put power to it either here or here. And yeah, I'm gonna have to put some ends on here, and the way I had it before fed in there, it works pretty good that way. So the rest is going to be boring, and I'm going to have to shut off the camera so I can work with both my hands and just basically install this harness. Is that bright light, buddy? Anyway, I don't know how it looks on the camera, but it's pretty darn intense when you're directly in line with it. When you're not directly in line with it, it's not that bad. It seems to cast some light here, even a shadow, and the sun hasn't really gone down, but it's a gloomy day. So yeah, you can see it lighting. I'm not even really standing directly in front of it, but you can see it lighting me up. So everything works, all the lights work, harness works, switch work, lights bolted on. So I just need to route these wires. We're good to go. Alright, it's kind of dark, but I'm just going to do a quick test here. That's with the parking lights on, and that's with the LED light on. It's a little bit foggy in the windows here because it's wet and rainy outside. So this is the low beam headlight, and that's the low beam with the fog light, and that's with the LED bar. There's a high beam. It's way up high, and that's with the LED light on. LED light off, low beam. I'll turn the fog lights off. That's a low beam there. So that LED light really helps a lot. I've got it aimed down a little bit, but wow, it works pretty good. It's only a 22-inch bar, but yeah, you don't really notice it in the daytime, but at night it really lights things up pretty good. That's the low beams. That's the low beams with the fog lights, and I thought the low beams were good, but it makes such a huge difference when you turn on that LED light. Yeah, works pretty good. Oh no, oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh hands. Oh hands. Shit.